Welcome back to Man vs. Meeple, the show where we talk about all things board game related. Today we are here with another Kickstarter preview, this time for Kokoro, Avenue of the Kodama. This is the next one from Indie Boards and Cards. If you hadn't guessed already, this is a re-implementation of the game Avenue, which hit Essen last year, I think.
Right, so each player is going to be creating routes upon their board and scoring victory points over 5 successive rounds. There's a minimal amount of components in the game. You have player boards. We'll get to these in a moment. You have path cards.
Right.
There's 2 different types of path cards. There's path cards with a picture at the bottom, and there's path cards with a gold border. We'll get to why those are important. And then you have sanctuaries. There's 6 different sanctuaries, lettered A through F, but you're only going to score 5 of those within a game, so one of those areas will not be scored on the player board. The player board itself, you look at the player board, and you have all the different sanctuaries laid out on here with some caterpillars and some flowers. These are your victory points that you'll be scoring through the course of the game. You have area over to the side for where you're going to write your victory points from round to round. And then you have across the bottom all the different types of paths, so there's just a visual.
Yeah, nice reference for all the paths, because it can get a little disorienting. One thing else to note, these are prototype components.
Yes.
We are told that these will be sort of dry erase boards for the player boards, which is a significant difference from the original Avenue, which is paper and pencil. So they're sort of upping the ante on that front.
Also, on the back side, you'll have a variant to the game. You'll have a blue side on the front that can be used by all players. And if you want some variation to it, you can turn to the pink side. On the pink side, you'll use a number 10 die in order to place the guardians randomly upon the board, which gives it a little bit of variety. So the game is actually very easy to play. At the start of a round, one of the players at the table will flip over and reveal one of the sanctuary cards. That sanctuary card will be lettered A through F. That will be the sanctuary that scores for that particular round. Everybody will denote that on their player board by writing that letter up in the yellow space.
Exactly.
And then any player at the table can reveal one guardian card or one path card, and they're going to play it face up onto the table, and that tells everybody which path to draw upon their player board.
Yeah, and you can simply, you can draw that path anywhere in any open square on your board. Now, of course, you don't want to just start randomly doing that, because you're trying to build paths that lead to, at least first and foremost, the sanctuary that you're scoring that round.
Mm-hmm.
But it also includes some long-term planning. You can place your bets on what sanctuaries might come out, and try to build one path that connects to all of them. That way you're able to score continuously throughout the game.
And to note that those paths will stay on your player board until the end of the game.
Right. Once you have a path in one square, paths next to it or adjacent to it either have to connect up with that path to keep it going.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't, those are dead ends, so that those paths will end up being dead.
So players will keep revealing these cards and drawing paths on them until the 4th gold card is revealed from the deck. When the 4th gold card is revealed from the deck, that denotes the end of the round, and players will score the victory points for the sanctuary that is in play at that time, in this case B. They'll look at their player board, and they'll get points for anything that makes a route through their B sanctuary, and any caterpillars or flowers that make a route to that area.
Right, and the interesting thing here is you can pace yourself scoring throughout this game or not, but there's some danger to not pacing yourself, because if in the second round you score equal to or less than the previous round, you score a 0 that round, and take a negative 5-point penalty at the end of the game for each round that you did that in.
Right.
Now, if you do score 0, you're able to reset, so then in the next round, you can score anything you want. But to my point, the strategy of maybe not scoring a ton of points in the first round so that you can gradually build up the whole time might be one way to go.
Especially not knowing which sanctuary is going to score in the next round and whether or not you connect those to your initial ones. So once the round is done, all the cards that were revealed would simply go into a discard pile. A new sanctuary will be revealed, and then you'll go through the residual amount of cards that are available. You'll never reshuffle this deck. You'll use all the cards available here. Once the 5th round is over, you're going to tally up all your scores, get negative victory points for any of the areas that scored 0, and then you're going to look at your player board and score for your guardians. One of the guardians will score for any caterpillars that she makes a connection to throughout the entire board, and the other one will make victory points for all the flowers that she is connected to throughout the entire player board as well. You're going to add up those points. Whoever has the most wins. Now, there's some differences in this than the original Avenue, and we don't have these cards in front of us, but we will have some on the slides and some of the things I threw up on the camera. There are now decrees in the game too.
Right.
We can't reveal all of them, but there's some really cool ones in here that allow you to manipulate the game. At the start of the game, one player will reveal one of those decrees, and that will give you unique abilities or unique scoring paths for the entire game.
Yeah, give it a little bit of variability.
Yeah.
I mean, a game like this is great on its own. I think anything they can do to add that extra variability is always welcome.
Yeah. And again, there is a double-sided scoring path, so the 10-sided die will allow you some variability with the way that the Guardians are placed onto the board as well. So that's Kokoro.
Yeah, that's Kokoro. I mean, if you liked Avenue, or if you ever heard of Avenue, and on top of it, you loved the theme and the cute little Kodama guys from the game Kodama.
Yeah.
I think this is a great extension of that franchise and bringing it over and applying it to this game.
Fantastic family game too, guys. It plays 2 to 6 right now, more with stretch goals, and it literally plays in about 15 minutes.
Yeah, super quick.
If you guys have questions, make them in the comments below, and we'll answer them for you. Subscribe to us, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and everything else that we do here at Man vs. Meeple, and we will catch you guys next time.
Bye-bye.
Season 1 of Man vs. Meeple is sponsored by our friends at TMG Games. And at Cool Stuff Inc. Cool stuff in stock at coolstuffinc.com.